AITA. Am I the a-hole for throwing away my boyfriend's potentially illegal yogurt collection? I'm a 29, F. My boyfriend is a 30, M. We've been living together for 2 years in a little studio in a very expensive, big US city. My boyfriend grew up rurally, with lots of space, enough to collect all kinds of things. He collected action figures and video games, and all the normal kid stuff when he was young, but as he grew older, he became interested in more unusual things. As a teen, he had 8 guinea pigs, of different types from different breeders. Since Tide Pods were released 7 years ago, he saved one of every kind of Tide Pod. He's got a big box of an international variety of electric insulators, those little ceramic hats that power lines wrap around on power poles. He's not a hoarder. He's usually neat, just used to having lots of space for his bizarro collections. At his parents' ranch, he has 2 big rooms full of containers of weird, and impressive, things. He recently became interested in yogurt. He's always hated dairy products, until about a year ago. He not just started drinking milk and sharing ice cream with me, but he's found a love for yogurts. So he now collects them, of course. The problem is that they're perishable. So, until earlier today, our little 550 square foot studio contained about 2,100 cups of yogurt. It comes in tons of varieties. Different types, flavors, textures, containers, made by different companies in different countries. This is like crack to my boyfriend. So he tried to pretty much save a sample of everything he could find. He filled our fridge, bought a new fridge, and then another tiny bedside fridge. He said he didn't want to walk to the fridge at night, but it was obviously a ruse to get more yogurt space. These fridges all filled up with his yogurts, and if you keep them for long, they smell bad. Sometimes the packaging breaks. So our apartment was smelling like rotten milk for the last 2 weeks, and my boyfriend's attitude was, "Oh, it's fine, and just deal with it for a little longer," until I pulled the plug and threw it all out this morning. I was looking at my groceries, which I had to put beside the fridge because there was no space, and everything smelled like death, and then I kinda snapped and threw it all away. My boyfriend is understandably upset. We've been arguing about whether I crossed a line by throwing away his stuff. And he's especially upset because he, of course, had rare yogurts that were hard to find. In particular, he had some Cuban and Iranian yogurts that you can't get in the US. But I know that we have trade sanctions against Iran and Cuba, so I don't know if it was even legal for him to have them. I asked where he got his Iranian yogurt, but he kept insisting the Iranian yogurt is not the issue here, and that the real issue was me throwing out his precious yogurts without his permission. Am I the a-hole here? Do I need legal advice? Thanks in advance. I'm so exasperated. The Iranian yogurt is not the issue here. I hope at some point in my life I find a way to seamlessly drop that into conversation. NTA. Not the a-hole. So, he can be a hoarder and still be neat. Tolerating a house smelling of rotten milk is not normal behavior. Perishable items are by their definition not collectibles. Either this is a troll or your boyfriend is a hoarder, and has convinced you it's not a problem. NTA. Not the a-hole. This isn't about yogurt at all, whether it came from Iran or the moon. From what you describe, your boyfriend does have hoarding tendencies. Filling a tiny apartment with several thousand yogurts to the point that you have to buy extra refrigerators, and can't safely store your groceries is a big issue. It deprives you of the opportunity to have a safe and sanitary living environment. It's a wonder you didn't clean out the fridge for your food sooner. Your boyfriend's lack of insight to the unfair situation he is putting you in makes him an a-hole here. Help him get the help he needs. Mental health professionals can help address the hoarding tendencies, and any additional underlying issues that may be at play. Good luck to you both. NAH. No a-holes here. OP, Your boyfriend is a compulsive hoarder. He needs to get help. AITA. Not the a-hole. Wow, this post is a ride. I mean, interesting collections, cool. So, until earlier today, our little 550 square foot studio contained about 2,100 cups of yogurt. Way odd. So our apartment was smelling like rotten milk for the last 2 weeks. I thought you meant empty yogurt cups. He was planning to just keep all those yogurts, which even in the fridge go bad eventually. That is lost touch with reality kind of hoarder territory. Is he okay? I would be concerned about somebody's mental health if they prioritized keeping a ton of expired yogurt, over having a living space that didn't stink to high heaven. He's right that the Iranian yogurt is not the problem, and frankly I wouldn't give a shoot about the legality of the yogurt. I would give a shoot about the inconvenience, and the giant health hazard of keeping a ton of rotten yogurt in your small shared living space. It doesn't have to be illegal for you to have a completely justified problem with it. AITA. I'm not even positive this is real, but it's frocking hilarious. Also, yes, your boyfriend is a hoarder. But it was obviously a ruse to get more yogurt space, ha 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 ha. AITA. You know who loves yogurt? Terry. You know who doesn't hoard yogurt? Terry. If Terry doesn't hoard yogurt, neither should your boyfriend. ESH. Everybody sucks here, but mostly he sucks because he is a hoarder who filled your apartment with an utterly absurd collection of rotting milk and now has the gall to stomp his feet over you getting rid of it. You threw out his chute with no warning. If you'd made an ultimatum like, you have 2 days to turn the yogurt collection into a collection of yogurt labels, and throw out the rotting dairy, or it all goes in the trash, I'd be like slay, queen, but as it is, I'm assigning a small part of the blame to you. I wouldn't worry about the legality of foreign yogurt so much, as the fact that if your home smells like rotting food your neighbors can call the cops for it being unsanitary, and you could get fines or be evicted. A hoarder hoards things. Not every hoarder is a flat cat type. Just because it's neat and organized or interesting to look at doesn't mean it isn't a problem. It's affecting their life or living environment, or they have an unhealthy attachment/inability to throw things away. They probably need some mental health help from a professional. AITA. So, troll potential aside, your boyfriend could definitely be a hoarder and still be neat. In fact, considering that there's considered some overlap, not much, admittedly, but still some, between obsessive-compulsive disorder and hoarding, one could definitely argue that this is possible, especially with that little detail of him being able to fill up 2 allegedly large rooms in his parents' home. I couldn't imagine all the potential issues with this particular fixation. Just off the top of my head, I imagine this might attract unwanted attention if there were ever any apartment inspections. Such smells could attract any number of rodents and insects or pests in general, which can be a nuisance to get rid of at the best of times, and sometimes outright expensive and impossible at worst. I doubt the electrical bill favored having not just 1, but essentially 2.5 fridges as well. That's not even addressing the issue of it likely being unsafe to keep expired, potentially exposed foods near other food that was fresh but could be compromised. In many ways, your boyfriend not only exposed you to a number of potential cost issues, but also some serious health problems. Trade sanctions and whatever else aside, because honestly I don't know much about how these things would affect having yogurt from Iran of all things, it sounds like your boyfriend needs some serious help. Whatever this is not normal. I'm sorry, but I'm frocking dying at this. The Iranian yogurt isn't the issue. I'm thinking it was just a ruse to get more yogurt space. AITA. How can you say he's not a hoarder? LOL. You also said he's neat. So neat your apartment smells like death. I genuinely don't understand what normal citizen is so considered with our government's current trade status with Iran, that they'd throw out their boyfriend's yogurt collection. The Iranian yogurt is not the issue here.